this is Kermit the Frog.
Fascinating. I'm Captain Kirk.
Magic is always there, as long as we keep looking for it.
Engage.
What does God need with a starship?
Thank you, love you. Mwah.
I protest. I am not a merry man.
Places, please. And here we go.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
Welcome, Doozers, Gorgs, Kazons, and Things to episode 157 of the MuppeTrek Podcast. I'm Steve.
And I'm Jarman, and we're on a journey across the stars to compare and contrast the creative worlds of Jim Henson and Gene Roddenberry.
What started as reviews of The Muppet Show and Star Trek, the original series, has expanded into outer space.
And this week, we have Fraggle Rock episode, A Friend in Need, and Star Trek The Next Generation episode, Booby Trap.
Booby Trap.
But before we do that, Steve, I think I want to rock.
I want to rock!
There are all kinds of gems, jewels, and geodes in this world, many of which can be found in Fraggle Rock, including chromite. This chromite is the only commercially viable source of the metal chromium, which is super important in the making of stainless steel, multiple color pigments. It's really good at reflecting and absorbing heat, so it's used to line kilns and ovens. It's used in high pressure, high temperature, deep oil drilling. Chromium is a very important mineral, and in fact, in World War II, control of its sources became a big critical thing in the entire world. So it was discovered in Russia in the late 1700s, and its name comes from the Greek chroma, which means color, because in its earliest uses, it's been used to make these really vibrant yellows and greens and reds. As mentioned, it can withstand just incredible heats and incredible pressure. And this is only exemplified in the fact that bits of chromium have been identified in meteorites, leading scientists to believe that chromium may be an important element in the formation of planetary bodies.
How do they find out this stuff? You know, like they find out this thing does that, and it's just trial and error. They see it in the kiln, like, oh, that piece of hunk of rock didn't melt, so I guess that one's stronger than the others, I guess. Is that how that happens?
Science, math. That's how. Science, math.
It's impressive. That's all I'm saying. It's impressive.
Hey, remember, for everyone who figured it out, there were like 100 guys that failed.
That's
Just
right.
Remember that, you know.
That's how evolution works, too.
There were 100 rocks that didn't make it through the fire.
Those rocks suck.
But yeah, so that is chromite, and that rocks.
I want to rock!
But what's going down in Fraggle Rock? What's up, Doc? Well, they found a shipwreck in the bay just outside of Doc's house, and they want Doc to analyze the historical findings inside. While examining a piece, he accidentally gets it stuck on his finger and heads to Schimmelfinny's to get it cut off. Sprocket is bored, and a ball rolls back and forth in the wall with him, but he goes in after it and gets stuck. Sprocket can't get out no matter how hard he tries. Doc comes in without looking and just momentarily is like, Sprocket, I gotta head to the ER, and just leaves. And he doesn't see Sprocket's predicament. Sprocket tries some really weird food that the creature in the wall brings him, and he doesn't dig it. And despite this little creature's efforts, he can't get out. A yellow creature then shows up and punches him in the face repeatedly. The orange creature comes back and sings at him. And then all the creatures show up and push him back through the wall together. Just then, Doc returns, the ring still on his finger, but Sprocket has some weird purple goo on him that makes the ring slip right off. What's going down in Fraggle Rock on the other side of the equation? Well, it's greaseberry season in Fraggle Rock, and Fraggles slip and slide around the rock on its leaves. Gobo's getting ready for an attempt of an impossible slide all the way from the garden to the Great Hall. Gobo takes off, with Wembley racing after, spinning, turning, flipping upside down, and ends with a successful run. High on his own success, he decides to head to outer space to grab Uncle Traveling Matt's postcard, which everyone thinks is a real bad idea because he's going to go at night. That's a big deal. He sings the song, I Knew I Was Good. Once again, he's really high on himself, and even taunts the monster when he's in outer space. He rolls a ball the monster has lost in the wall, and the monster pushes it back. and they push it back and forth repeatedly. But when Gobo goes to leave, the monster grows impatient and tries to break into Fraggle Rock. But the monster gets stuck. Gobo goes back to see that the monster can't get out, and he vows to get him something to eat. He goes and brings the monster doozer sticks, which are just disgusting to the monster. Gobo reads him Uncle Traveling Matt's postcard, and to try to shed some light on what's going on. Uncle Traveling Matt was exploring a cave where tall creatures were meditating, but then found himself trapped. Once Uncle Traveling Matt calmed down and undid the lock, he was able to leave the tall meditating creatures. Gobo tries to calm and then push the beast out, but there's no luck. He goes to get greaseberry leaves to smooth the process, and so he ends up heading to the Gorg's garden. But Gobo is trapped. The Gorgs are sick of Fraggles stealing their greaseberry leaves because Ma Gorg uses them for something special. Wembley wakes from a nightmare about Gobo going to feed the monster, and that's when they discover that Gobo is gone. Gobo is in his cage, sings a sad song, having lost all his pre-found confidence. He sings Wise to Myself, which is just him coming to the realization that he isn't all that and a bag of potato chips. Gobo is discovered by Ma Gorg, who can't stand his crying, and so he cries even harder to lure the Gorg back. Wembley goes and beats the monster repeatedly in the face, thinking that it ate his friend Gobo. Gobo talks his way out of the cage and takes some Gorg butter with him to help the monster get out. Gobo returns, surprising his friends that he's alive, and uses the butter to grease up the monster. He sings the song Count on Me, reassuring the monster that he and the others are there to help. Him and the others, in one final valiant push, send the monster back to outer space. Gobo and Sprocket form kind of a bond through the hole in the wall. Well, in the Gorg's garden, Junior is on the lookout in the watchtower. He completely misses the Fraggle sneaking into the garden, who then gets caught in his trap. Ma Gorg wakes up hearing crying and goes to investigate, and she finds a Fraggle. Ugh. She runs in, but she just can't, as a mother, ignore the crying of a helpless thing. She goes out and talks to the Fraggle. She reveals that she hates that Fraggles have been stealing their greaseberry plants because they use it to make Gorg butter. She hears about his plea and to get the monster unstuck and gives him a big tub of purple Gorg butter and sends him on his way. So that was this episode of Fraggle Rock. 3 distinct storylines.
Yeah.
What did you think?
That's like probably the longest description you've had to give, because just a lot of things going on in different settings.
Yeah, there's only one other I can think of where all the things intertwined, and I was like, oh my God, it's too many to talk about.
I thought that was a really fun episode, but I wanted to ask one question up front. Did you notice anything strange about Doc?
His voice.
Yes.
I think he as an actor was sick or something and losing his voice.
Okay.
You could hear it. It was like extra husky.
It was real low. And I was like, at first it almost sounded like
it
sounded like he was almost pitched down. And so I thought maybe my file that I was watching it off over the stream was corrupted so that everyone would sound that way. But then when the Fraggles came on screen, they sounded normal. I was like, oh, I guess he's just sick. Okay, making sure it wasn't just my copy or something. But yeah, Doc sounded weird.
No, and it's a good thing, too, because he's not in a ton of the episodes ever, but he was in even less of this one.
It was more just Sprocket, yeah. But that was that threw me off from the get. I'm like, whoa, is that like a dub over? Like, what's wrong with his voice?
No, we'll see if, for whatever reason, it continues beyond this point.
Right. But he gets
but I think he was just sick. I think that's what it sounded like.
And they pushed forward with filming. But yeah, great songs from Gobo, mostly Gobo singing his songs this time. A lot of jazzy, bluesy songs that he had this time, which is great. I love just him and Sprocket maybe becoming friends. We'll see if that continues. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, like he's finally getting to know these Fraggles and not just be barking at him all the time. And the soft side of Mama Gorg, she's just really a sweetheart when it comes down to it. She thinks they're like rats stealing her food, so she's pissed off, but she doesn't want to kill them like her son does. Like that's just crazy.
Right. And even Junior before this point has pointed out that like he didn't mean, because there was the one time he thought he killed one.
And he was sad.
And he was like broken up about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really quite understand this relationship, but I'm excited to see more.
I feel like it's like with real children. If they're always, they probably chase after a rat and try to step on it, but if they actually killed one, they'd be like, oh no.
Yeah, true.
The gourd butter looks delicious, by the way. A purple color. I want to eat a ton of that. Like maybe some ice cream.
I did like the I think Boober licked some. He was like a little salty, but pretty good. And then when Doc licked it, he was like, needs a little salt, but pretty good.
That was a good touch.
To see like the opposite Fraggle and human palates.
Now we're knowing even more about the lore of the palates of the Fraggles.
The lore of the palates.
But yeah, just like we could have used some more doozers. No Trash Heap again. We haven't seen her in a while. I'm hoping she's okay. Maybe she's sick too, but no Trash Heap in a long time.
Yeah, no Trash Heap, no doozers unless they were in the back of a shot. I didn't notice. The closest we got is when Gobo went to get doozer construction to try to feed the monster.
And I wondered if I missed them in that shot, like when he went and got the construction, but I don't think we saw them.
And once again, if they were in it, there was not enough for me to even mention it.
Exactly. But good
overall,
episode, very packed full of stuff.
Very packed full of stuff. I will say, I know that you like the music, but every one of these songs reminded me of a different, better song.
Okay. Could see that.
Like the I Knew I Was Good was almost the exact same chord progression, tempo, and even some of the like lines as I want to skip, goobity bop, back to Fraggle Rock. Like it was, but it was, when listening to it, I thought it was that song again at first. Now, mind you, same songwriter. Probably wrote most of these, so I get it. There's going to be some thematic layover, but because of that, I was like, none of these songs feel distinct.
True, nothing jumped out, but they were all kind of like, oh, this is nice and bluesy or jazzy. Like, all right, but there wasn't like a standout song. That's true. Yeah,
but overall, very good. This will probably end up at a minimum middle.
Yeah,
maybe high. Because it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, it was entertaining. It's straightforward. Yeah, I like it.
So what did you think was the best Muppeteering moment in this episode?
Well, first I have to know what the silly creatures were up to.
Oh, shit. Silly creatures. Well, the tall meditating creatures that Matt finds when he's trapped is really, he gets locked in a broom closet. So I'm going to talk a little bit about brooms. Brooms are one of the oldest tools known in human history. Egyptians bundled together palm fronds. Medieval Europeans used birch branches, all gathered up to try to sweep out homes and hearths. In early America, farmers grew a crop that was called broom corn, which was actually a type of sorghum whose fibers were like perfectly long and straight for brooms. But it was the Shakers, of all people, that invented the first modern flat broom. By putting it in a press before binding it, it made it flat. It made it way more efficient for sweeping than any prior broom, which were just sort of circular bundles. Some fun facts here. African and Celtic cultures feature a wedding ritual referred to as jumping the broom, which signifies the sweeping away of an old life and starting of a new. In a similar theme, in Japanese culture, brooms are used during the New Year's Eve, to sweep out houses and homes, to sweep out the old year and bring in the new. So Uncle Travis Matt was stuck in a broom closet, and that's what those silly creatures were up to this week.
Gotcha.
Now, what did you think was this best episode? Best Muppeteering moment? I had one chance to get it right.
So I think the episode wants us to say that it was the opening scene of Gobo flying around on the leaf and being all greasy, and there's a lot of cool stuff there. I'm not going to lie. It was there.
Yes, I share very much the same sentiment I think you're going to go with.
But my favorite, very specific moment was when we have Sprocket stuck in the wall, but they zoom out to the other shot of just his butt and his tail and his legs, and he's dancing to the music that he's singing. And so you just see his two legs dancing and his tail flapping. And I'm like, that is amazing. Because someone's hand was at reverse in the back and the front of the dog to make those legs move around. And I was like, that is fantastic. I don't know why I like that so much.
I really enjoyed Sprocket and the Wall in general.
Yeah.
Not only was it great to see more of Sprocket with the Fraggles, because normally he's chasing them out. Like, it's very rare there's a true interaction. But it was a great sort of plot device, which is weird to say in regards to Fraggle Rock, but it was very limiting in a way that it made it feasible that Sprocket needed this thing to help him.
That's true. He couldn't attack or chase
created,
after them. Yeah.
Right. It created an imbalance in their relationship that was fun to watch them kind of resolve.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dug this episode. Might end up high. We'll see.
We'll see.
So what happened on this week's episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation?
Booby Trap.
Booby Trap.
So the Enterprise is exploring a debris field from a 1,000-year-old battle that happened 1,000 years ago. They suddenly hear a distress signal, which they're like, that's weird. Everyone here's supposed to be dead 1,000 years ago. But apparently it's coming from a still surviving ship that's from the battle. So they board this ship, and Picard is just so curious because he's that archaeologist mind of his. He wants to go on the ship himself, even though Riker's objecting. And they go on the ship, though, and they find that it's still in good condition. But there's all, everything's covered in dust. There's some dead bodies around that have been decaying for 1,000 years. But they do find a decayed recording of the ship's captain that they barely get to work, talking about how he's applauding his crew, but it's his fault that everything happened. So he takes responsibility for his crew's death. They beam back to the ship and they're like, oh, tell Starfleet to come out here to come log this. This is incredibly interesting. But all of a sudden they realize they've stumbled into a hidden energy trap that drains the ship's power. And the more they move, the worse it gets. They even try to blow up these nearby rocks that they find are emitting this high-level radiation that are causing them to be stuck. But the power from their phasers just makes the radiation stronger. And within a couple hours, their shields will collapse and everyone will die of radiation poisoning within a half hour of their shields collapsing. So it's getting more dangerous by the minute. So Geordi is desperately trying to find a solution to the problem. And he finds notes on a computer from a Dr. Leah Brahms, this brilliant scientist who originally designed the Enterprise warp engines. So it's a good person to ask this question to. So he eventually has the computer make a full recreation of Leah to help him with the problem in real time. And it should be noted that in the beginning, they framed this of the episode. It's been established that Geordi's having some trouble in the dating arena, and he even asks Guinan for some help with the ladies. And she just tells him to be himself. Stop trying so hard. And so back to the present, this becomes relevant because as soon as Geordi sees the hologram of Leah Brahms, you can tell he's immediately smitten with Leah Brahms. So working with this holo Leah, they eventually develop a plan to free the ship using minimal power so that they don't give any power to the emitters, and some clever physics to move stuff around, basically coasting out of the trap without using any kind of power. But up on the bridge, Picard likes the idea, but he personally wants to pilot the ship himself out of the debris field. And once they're safely out of the debris field and away from radiation, they blow up the ship and destroy the nearby emitters that produce the radiation. So I guess Starfleet's not going to be able to look at that ship in the future. And Geordi even gets a smooch from holo Leah Brahms before deactivating her program. So good for Geordi. He got some simulation.
Just like their relationship. Holo.
Very much so. So Steve, what were your thoughts on this episode?
So normally I separate it into likes and dislikes, and for whatever reason this week it was just sort of a stream of consciousness.
That's fine.
So Geordi got no game. That was very amusing. I did like the sort of sentiment of him trying to engineer romance the way that he would try to work with the engine.
Yeah.
He was checking all the boxes. He had the music. He had the beach. Do you want me to turn down the wind? Do you want me to turn up the he was trying to engineer. He was tuning an engine. I thought that was a fun parallel. True. Interesting premise, ghost signal from 1,000 years ago. Geordi falling in love with a hologram. It felt too choreographed. It was so choreographed. It felt a little bit cliche. Only because they set up the romance thing first and he failed. And so that became his story for this episode. So it just kind of became clear what was going to happen. I also don't know, because I don't think I've seen this episode before, but I saw this exact premise on the Orville. And so it became this question of do I think this is cliche because I've already seen this?
I don't remember that episode of the Orville, but I'm not surprised.
Geordi immediately starts fighting with the hologram. I thought that was great. Brings her to life, and they're just at each other's throats. So they're on this crazy countdown. It's like 2 hours until the shields fail, and then 30 minutes until everyone's dead.
Yeah.
And then at one point they try something, and that goes down to like 26 minutes or 24 minutes or something. Like it reduces even further. So watching Geordi have these like cheeky, lighthearted scenes with a hologram during this like incredible pressure time crunch didn't feel appropriate.
Yeah.
Like it made me go, Geordi, are you really just doing, are you trying to get some nookie because you think you're all going to die? Is that?
We don't have time for this, Geordi.
We don't have, yeah. And then even Picard at one point shows up and like checks up on him, and Geordi looks like a kid who's been caught with his bedroom door closed.
That's true.
I did think it was interesting, and I wish they had followed through with it. The premise of them turning things over to the computer was, I think, an interesting idea, that this whole time the computer is this super mega powerful thing that even rivals what Data can do. And they've like, it helps us in all of our things, but we've never turned over control to it. And so that was kind of like a big question mark that was really interesting to me.
They come back to that for sure.
Picard and who was it? I wrote Ruler, but I know that's an autocorrect. But once again, Picard, there were multiple times where things were just too laid back and jovial. Oh, it's probably him and Riker. When they're talking about ships in a bottle and imagining what it was like as a child. And all sweet moments, Riker's smiling. And I was like, everyone dies in an hour, guys. What is happening right now?
The end of the episode where he's like, we need to go out of this without using any technology. And then Riker looks at Picard, is like a ship in a bottle. And he gives him that like weird little look that Riker always gives us. Like, we don't have time to be giving weird looks right now. We're all going to die.
Yeah. God damn it. And then I did love Picard actually driving. And and taking Wesley Crusher off the con to like do it. I thought that was great. Well, I just liked the captain mentality. Like, if everyone dies, it's going to be because of something I did, not because of some other crew person. It will be my responsibility. Even if I die too, he was ready for it to be his responsibility. But yeah, overall, I'm going to put this mid. It might end up lower. It's just the stakes matched with the romance angle and the giggling and the lighthearted nature of some of the story elements really were a bad mismatch for me.
I could see that. I think my mind gives it some of it a pass because I think of it as they're almost like in a life or death situation so often that now it's like second nature to them. So they can just be like having a little moment because they know that, hey, we're either going to live or die. So I'm going to at least have this good moment here. But that's just me excusing it because you had made a valid point, and it's just my brain excusing what probably shouldn't be there in the writing.
And you're right; they are in some sort of catastrophic situation almost every episode. So I guess I can understand that. They've been an hour away from dying a lot.
So I'm going to have this little joke. I'm going to have this little moment with this hologram lady. One thing I did notice, this weird thing, like the voice of Doc in the last episode. This episode, everyone looked really sweaty and sickly for some reason, even before the radiation started. If you go back, like looking at it, like in the restoration ones we're watching, they look so sweaty and the makeup's so weak that you can see like every wrinkle and dark circle under their eyes. It's like, it was just off-putting for me for some reason. And there was some very 80s music in this episode. Like more than usual. I know it is filmed in the late 80s, but like it wasn't the usual orchestral score. There was like some 80s like action movie music. It was strange. But yeah, I like the story. It was unique for what we've seen before, getting stuck in an ancient trap that's not controlled by powerful gods for once. You know, it's
right. And there's no enemy to negotiate with. It's just them versus the situation.
The technology and how can they get out of their own ingenuity? Yeah, that was more unique than we usually see. They'd use philosophy and like history and science to get out of it, not some kind of fists or blowing things up, even though they tried. I did like Riker
Geordi definitely tried to fuck a hologram.
Yes.
Just for the record.
But But I did like Riker and Troy at the beginning of the episode before things got tense when they were like all giddy because they loved seeing Picard so happy about getting on an old ship. And she's like, I just love seeing this side of your personality with her weird accent that she does. I like the good moments between Wesley and Data. Had that good moment in the beginning where Geordi walks in looking sad and Wesley goes, uh-oh. And Data's confused by what's uh-oh. And then he says uh-oh at the end of the scene. I thought that was cute. I don't know. A little thing. But yeah, kind of a middle episode. As the kids say these days, it was mid. Yeah.
Yeah. Mid. Total mid.
Total mid, bro.
It was a real meh of an episode.
Meh. So just a couple Trek facts, literally just two that I could find that were interesting. Susan Gibney, who played Dr. Leah Brahms, this is fascinating to me. She auditioned for the roles of Counselor Troy and Tasha Yar before Marina Sirtis and Denise Crosby were cast, but didn't get the role for either. She was later a front runner for Captain Janeway and 7 of 9. So Catherine Janeway didn't get it. Then later on when 7 of 9 comes in, she auditioned for that, was a front runner, didn't get that. Then she comes back in 1996 and auditions for the Borg Queen in First Contact. Doesn't get it. So she was almost got all of those roles in Star Trek, but all she's known for now
couldn't land one.
Yeah, she gets to play this, and she gets a role in Deep Space Nine, but like a guest appearance role that lasts for a couple episodes. But man, rough life for her.
Yeah.
Guinan tells Geordi LaForge that she's always been attracted to bald men in that one scene because a bald man was once very kind to her, and that incident is depicted 3 seasons later in Time Zero Part 2. We will learn what the hell she's talking about there. So, yeah, keep that in mind with no spoilers here.
In 3 seasons, so like little less than 3 years, we'll definitely remember that.
Yeah. But Steve, you got some Trek connections for us?
Oh boy, do I. Gaelic Dar, who was the captain of the alien vessel that we only saw in video, was played by a big working actor, Albert Hall, longtime actor. You're going to recognize him from something. Well, he played the role of General Decker in the movie Major Payne, which is really a classic. This movie featured a young Orlando Brown, who went on to be a big-time Disney star actor, but he was also, in his childhood, in the 1996 Muppet sing-along special, Things That Fly.
Wow.
He was one of the child actors they used for an actual Muppet thing. Chrissy Henshaw, who played Geordi's date at the beginning, who turns him down, was played by actress Julie Warner, who it was recognizable. She was in the movie Doc Hollywood, starring opposite Michael J. Fox. Doc Hollywood also featured actor David Ogden Stiers, who, if you look him up, you'll know who he is. He played uptight Major Charles Winchester on all the seasons of MASH, the TV show. Also in MASH, playing the role of Hot Lips Houlihan, was Loretta Swit, who was a special guest on The Muppet Show.
Wow. That's just a web of connections there.
Yeah. A lot of things.
You made it happen.
Some similarities. Both feature one giant push to solve a problem. The Enterprise giving every ounce of power for just 1 split second and then drifting out of the trap, and Gobo and the other Fraggles giving Sprocket one giant push after lubing him up to get him unstuck.
That's a good one. I like that. Both have 2 characters becoming closer after solving a big issue together. Geordi and Leah Brahms after they escape the Booby Trap, and hollow Leah Brahms, and Sprocket and Gobo after Gobo gets him unstuck. They become a little closer, you know?
I do like that.
Yeah.
Both feature characters being trapped. Gobo in the cage, and then, of course, Uncle Traveling Matt in the broom closet, and the Enterprise in the energy booby trap.
Oh, that's true. And I have a similarity in that both these episodes then teach the same lesson, that if you chase after the shiny object, you might get trapped. Like Sprocket in the ball, or the Enterprise in that 1,000-year-old ship. They were just trapping them in there by just chasing after that thing. You gotta be careful. You gotta look where you're going.
I'm with you. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, now there's a noise.
Another malfunction.
Transporter malfunction.
All right, it's a part of the show where we transport one character from one of the episodes to the other and vice versa. So what you got for us, Steve?
Trek to Rock this week, I'm going to bring over Picard and replace Sprocket. Picard's stuck in the hole, trying to reason his way out, all while reminiscing about childhood memories of ships and bottles, and Gobo does not know what to do with him.
Wait, Fraggle, come back. I'm going to tell you about the ships and bottles. Come back. Don't be bored.
No, come back. I'll try your doozle sticks, I promise.
Let me eat them. I'm hungry. Trek to Rock, I'd have Leah Brahms come over to replace the Gorg mom. So when Gobo goes to get the grease plant, he instead enlists the help of Brahms to engineer a solution to free Sprocket. I think it worked out really well.
Nice. Bring over the Gorg's entire universe and replace the destroyed planet. I love the idea of the Gorgs having wiped each other out and the only 3 remaining of them rule over this last piece just drifting in space.
And that's why they have no enemies or servants.
And that's why we never see anything more than just their area, because that is all that exists. But they are rulers over that world.
They're rulers of nothing.
That's right.
Rock to Trek, I'd have Wembley come over to replace Picard, because it would just be morbidly hilarious to have him paralyzed with indecision and the ship gets flooded with radiation and everyone dies.
Yeah, that's right.
He wouldn't be able to do a damn thing. But that brings us to the end of episode 157 of the MuppeTrek Podcast.
Join us next time for Fraggle Rock episode, The Wizard of Fraggle Rock.
And Star Trek Next Generation episode, The Enemy.
So, from the lovers, the dreamers, and us,
live long and prosper, everyone!
Thanks for listening to the MuppeTrek Podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media on Facebook and Twitter.
Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
This podcast has been brought to you by A Play on Nerds.